Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I take a look at all the new comic books coming out on either January 12th or 13th, 2021, and I ask myself the question, what one new comic book would I buy this week if I could buy just one book? Now I have to start off this video by thanking all of you so much. At the time of recording this video, last week's video has had more views than any other one of these videos that I have made. Almost 100 views. Now, granted, I'm not going to become YouTube famous anytime soon, but there's been steady and continuous growth with these videos, and I thank you all so much for sticking with me, for watching my videos, and for all the new people, thank you so much for checking me out. I hope you continue to enjoy the content that I provide. I almost have 200 subscribers, which considering just a few months ago I had 8, and this has been an unpromoted channel. People are just finding it and enjoying the content, I suppose. I'm very proud and happy with the growth that the channel has seen, and once again, it's all thanks to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's start off this video by taking a look back at last week's pick, which was Star Wars: The High Republic #1. Now the question, as always, is, was this book a legitimate and worthy pick to be my just one book? And the answer is, oh, hell yeah! Oh my gosh, this book has blown up. On the day when this book came out, every single copy was at least, like, the A cover was $15. The B cover, I think the A cover was $20. The B cover was $15. The C cover was going for $30 or more. It's bananas. Now, it's my understanding that on Tuesday, the day before this book came out, there was an announcement that there's going to be some kind of television show, be it animated or live action, we don't know yet, but some kind of television show made from this story, and so people were scrambling to pick up these comic books. I had this book that I had pre-ordered through my comic book store, so I was really happy to be able to get my hands on this copy. But of course, I'm greedy. So I proceeded to go to every single comic book store within a 10-mile radius, which was 10 different ones, to see if I could find maybe another copy of a different cover. And I was able to find this, the B cover. And one of the stores I went to early in the day, they told me, we haven't gotten our shipment in yet. And I was like, oh, if you could please hold something for me. And they're like, we'll see what we can do. And I went back later and they told me, we're holding it for you. I was able to get this one as well. And then, just because I had the opportunity and I was going all in on all this, I also picked up the 1 in 10. Because the fact is, these guys are not in this comic book. So who are these guys? Are they going to be important later or not? Who knows? So I went ahead and scooped it up. It was $15, so I figured, why not? So I went all in on Star Wars: The High Republic. I hope you were able to find at least one copy, and ideally more than one. There was also last week's cover pick, which was this one that I got my hands on right here. I had the opportunity to see all of the different Alien variants in person, and a lot of them were phenomenal. I really thought it was a great collection of covers. It got me really excited about what's to come from Alien in the Marvel Universe. But even after seeing them all, this one still was the winner. It's a beautiful cover, and I'm excited to have it in my collection. All right, enough looking back on last week. Let's look forward to this week. Now, this week, my cover pick, my choice if I was to recommend a new series to pick up, and my pick for my just one book are all one in the same. So we'll get to that later in this video. But first, I'm going to give an honorable mention to a cover that I think is pretty fantastic. That could have very well been my cover pick of the week, but it just didn't quite get there. I like the other one just a tiny bit more. My honorable mention for cover pick of this week goes to The Amazing Spider-Man number 57. This is the Marco Maestrazzo variant. I think it's really pretty cool. And like I said, it could have absolutely been my pick for this week. Art is subjective and even within a person. So tomorrow I might be like, yeah, I like this one better than the one I actually show you later in the video, because they're both really great and this one's really great. And for the record, yes, this is Amazing Spider-Man number 57. Yes, there has been an issue of Amazing Spider-Man that has come out every week for the past 3 weeks. That's going to stop and it's going to go back to bi-weekly soon enough. Anyways, let's move forward and let's look at the books that are coming out this week. Now, I'm not focusing on every single book, but there's focusing only on ones that I think are noteworthy, but there's still a lot of them, so I'm going to try to move through them quickly. First thing I want to mention is that Department of Truth issue number 1 third print, issue number 2 second print, and issue number 3 second print are all coming out this new comic book day. If you're not reading the Department of Truth, you really should. I like it a lot, especially issue number 3. I thought it was such a fantastic read. I'm really interested in this story. This is a fantastic opportunity for you to get caught up on this book if you are not already. So consider maybe picking up one of these later prints this week if you haven't already started reading this book. I also want to mention that The Immortal Hulk number 42 comes out this week, and I mentioned it because Al Ewing. I'm not personally reading this book, but I've come to really appreciate Al Ewing as a writer, and he writes this book, and people are singing its praises left and right, so I wanted you to be aware of it, that in case you're a better person than me, and you're actually picking up and reading this book. You know, you can't read them all, you know. All right, the next book I want to mention to you that's new this week is Future State, Dark Detective. The world thought Bruce Wayne was dead. They were dead wrong. When the sinister paramilitary organization known as the Magistrates seized control of Gotham City, the original Batman went big to put them down. But even the Dark Knight couldn't predict how far this evil force would go to stop him. Now Bruce Wayne is on the run. From Eisner Award-winning writer Mariko Tamaki and rising star artist Dan Mora is the story of a Batman pushed to the brink with nothing left to lose. Also in this issue, Grifter is back. Cole Cash is having a bad day, and that's not going to improve when the detectives of the GCPD show up. Will a chance meeting with Luke Fox change his luck, or is his day about to get a lot worse? Well, we have the next Batman. This answers the question of what happened to the first Batman, Bruce Wayne. Could be an interesting story to see, like, why he's not just a full-fledged Batman anymore. The next book I want to mention to you is Sword number 2. I mentioned earlier just a moment ago that Al Ewing is somebody that I'm fast becoming a fan of, and Al Ewing is the writer here on Sword. This is Sword issue number 2. I really liked issue number 1. I read it and checked it out. I liked it a lot because I like the X-Men, and Sword is kind of the galactic, you know, exploration arm of Krakoa, of the mutants on Earth right now. This seems like it could be pretty cool, and it's well done by writer Al Ewing, so I'm interested in checking out and seeing where this story is going. Also, this is a King in Black tie-in, so if you're interested in King in Black tie-ins, you'll be interested in this book. Basically, this week, I'm going to ping-pong back and forth between Future State books and King in Black tie-ins. That's basically what we got this week, so let's continue. The next book I want to mention to you is Future State Justice League number 1. It says, witness the start of a new era for the Justice League, starring Jonathan Kent as Superman, Yara Flora as Wonder Woman, Joe Mullein as Green Lantern, Andy Curry as Aquaman, and a new Flash from the multiverse, and Tim Fox as Batman. Together, they protect the future, yet apart, their identities are secret even from one another. But why? When their greatest adversaries wind up murdered in an abandoned Hall of Justice, all clues point to the Justice League. The new team's adventures begin here. And in a new tale of the Justice League Dark, a witch hunt across the DC universe begins as magic users are harvested and executed, and the team is on the run. Zatanna and Detective Chimp, now possessed by Etrigan, must round up new and old teammates, including John Constantine, Ragman, and Madame Xanadu. Their mission? To battle the power-mad Crow King Merlin before his plans for magical domination destroy the fabric of reality. But where's Dr. Fate, and what led the team to disband in the first place? Discover the truth here. Okay, so if you're going to have a future state slate of all of DC heroes, you have to have a future state Justice League, and here it is right here. Also, this seems like a lot of the things in the future state stories seem kind of dark, which to me is actually makes it more interesting to me than not, this kind of dark dystopian future. So it's interesting, and it seems to be present here in Justice League. Another example of the darkness in Future State comes from Future State Teen Titans #1. When the original new Teen Titans formed a school to mentor and train young heroes, they wanted to help save the world. Years later, Titans Tower is a monument to a graveyard of pupils lost in a terrible battle. Returning to the site of their greatest failure, Nightwing, Starfire, Beast Boy, and Cyborg joined Raven to plot a course to face off against the evil that destroyed their team and school. Loyalties are questioned and motives are suspect, as the former teen heroes must turn to the mysterious Red X, a former student, for help. Don't miss the first comics appearance of this Red X, previously seen only in the hit animated TV series Teen Titans. Now, not only does this sound like a pretty interesting story, but it sounds spec-worthy if you're a fan of the Teen Titans, if you're a fan of the animated series, and if you're a fan of first appearances. This might be a book for you with the first appearance of Red X, something to consider checking out. Next, another Future State book is Future State Green Lantern #1. It says, assigned to map and contact new life forms past the 3,600 known sectors of space protected by the Green Lantern Corps, John Stewart and an elite team of Lanterns are trapped behind enemy lines and fighting for their lives when the central power battery goes dark and leaves the entire Corps defenseless. Meanwhile, across the cosmos, Green Lantern Jessica Cruz finds herself powerless and forced to battle the invading Yellow Lanterns of the Sinestro Corps, while Guy Gardner, trapped on a distant world, decides to reopen Warrior's Bar. Now, what's most interesting to me about this story is the first one that I mentioned, the John Stewart-focused one, where the central power battery goes dark. Well, that's really bad for the Green Lanterns who need to recharge their rings, except for one Green Lantern, the Green Lantern Joe from a book that I've mentioned many times in these videos, Far Sector. I really like Far Sector. I really like this Green Lantern Joe, who I also just mentioned as being part of the Future State Justice League, but her power ring recharges itself. She does not need to charge it from a battery. So I have a feeling, even though she's not mentioned in this description, that she is going to be a key and important player in this Green Lantern Future State. And another hint is that this B cover is done by Jamal Campbell, who is the artist of Far Sector. Interesting enough. All right, let's move on to the next book, which is Future State, Robin Eternal. Lazarus resin is on its way to Gotham City, and the magistrate intends to use this regenerative super drug to make himself immortal. That is, unless Tim Drake has anything to say about it. Join the ultimate heist at 20,000 feet as Robin and, spoiler, they don't tell us who, hijack the sky convoy that could mean the end of freedom in Gotham forever, if the emotional baggage between Tim and Stephanie doesn't do them in first. It's the fist-flying, skydiving, robot-smashing, fascist-punching adventure that you cannot miss from rising star writer Megan Fitzmartin and top artist Eddie Barrows. They are scraping the bottom of the barrel with every single DC character that they can and giving them their own Future State title. I don't understand. They probably should have cut off a few titles ago, but they're going to keep going, and there's still more to come, so get ready for that. The next book I'm going to mention is King in Black, Gwenum versus Carnage. It says Gwen Stacy enters the fray against the King in Black. bonded to a synthetic symbiote from another reality, Ghost Spider, aka Gwen Stacy of Earth 65, is unique among the web-slingers of the multiverse. But when Null descends on her adopted home, his gravity well of psychic energy will reap unforeseen consequences, not only on Gwen, but on her symbiotic suit as well. If you're a fan of symbiotes, you are super excited about King in Black Gwenom versus Carnage. I am not even like a massive Venom and symbiotes fan, but I am a little more than a little interested in this book in particular. I think it might be one of the better King in Black tie-ins and worth checking out. The next one I want to mention is King in Black, Planet of the Symbiotes. All it says is darkness reigns over the Marvel Universe. It's my understanding that this is going to be a collection of stories, of kind of just like side stories of things that are happening on planet Earth during Null's takeover of the planet. It could be interesting, but I bet you it is far from essential and just kind of a little bit of filler stories that kind of let you know a little bit about what else is going on in the Marvel Universe, as if the numerous tie-ins wasn't enough for you already. Okay, next I'm going to mention Future State, Superman / Wonder Woman #1. Here's the description. The sun is set on the heroes of the past, and a new age is dawning. As two arrogant gods challenge one another to a contest of strength, Superman and Wonder Woman are forced to take action to save their cities from the chaos. Together, Jonathan Kent and Yara Flor, man of science and woman of myth, have the potential to become something powerful. But that's only if they can learn to get along. Can the two fledgling heroes put their differences aside long enough to save the world they have sworn to protect? I'm going to answer that question with yes, probably. Not only do they have to give you a new Superman and a new Wonder Woman, not only are they going to put them together in the Justice League, they got to put them together in their own little side comic as well. This is part of what I'm talking about, is that there are too many Future State books. There's just too many of them. This is not one that we need. Hopefully it's great. Fingers crossed. But like I said, there's too many of them. The next book I want to mention is just a personal favorite that's coming out this week. It is Seven Secrets #6. Now, Seven Secrets was kind of waning for me around issue 4, but it's, around issue maybe 3 or 4. I forget which one it was, but it's really picked up for me recently, and I'm back. I'm all in. I'm interested to see what the future of Seven Secrets holds. What's going to happen next in the story. I hope you're having the opportunity to read it. And if you're not, it might not be too late. It might be something that you can still go ahead and find out there. I don't think it's moving very much on the secondary market, so you can probably find the issues for around cover price. But to me, I'm enjoying the read, so it might be something that you consider checking out. The next book I want to mention is Future State, Kara Zor-El, Superwoman. It says, Kara Zor-El, Superman's hot-tempered cousin, has finally found peace and purpose away from Earth and its heroes. Now known as Superwoman, she watches over the moon and the refugees from across the galaxy who have congregated there. But all that is about to change when a spaceship piloted by a runaway alien crash lands and turns Kara's world upside down. Does the fugitive come in peace, or does this arrival bring war to our hero's front door? Okay. We don't need this story. I'm happy we have this female superhero. And I'm always happy for more female superheroes. But so no hate against having a Superwoman. But like I said, there's already too many books. We don't need this many Future State books. And this story just seems kind of, I don't know. I hope it's for you, and I hope it makes you happy. To me, it seems completely like an unnecessary title. And I don't understand why they put so many of these out. I think they kind of overextended themselves here on the Future State, personally. The next book I want to mention is King in Black, Thunderbolts #1. Kingpin's killers versus an army of unkillable dragons. An army of evil space dragons have come to attack Earth and are starting with New York. Mayor Fisk has a plan for that, assembling a group of killers, mercenaries, and just generally pretty horrible people like Taskmaster, Rhino, Star, Mr. Fear, and Batroc the Leaper. Mayor Fisk tasks them with saving the city or die trying. Or die right then and there. The fate of the entire world may rest in the hands of the absolute worst people in the Marvel Universe. What could go wrong? Well, this is clearly Marvel's answer to the Suicide Squad. But that being said, it's actually a pretty good idea, the concept of having a team of bad guys work together toward a goal of like saving the planet. I actually find that kind of concept pretty interesting. So I am interested in seeing what this story has to offer. If it's a good story, well written, I think it could be worth checking out. The next book I want to mention to you is The Union #2, and all I want to mention to you is that it is yet another King in Black tie-in. I'm not interested in The Union, but once again, if you are getting all the King in Black tie-ins, this one is one that comes out this week. Next, this is a book I am excited about. This is Chris Claremont Anniversary Special #1. It says, celebrate Chris Claremont's enormous impact on your favorite Marvel comics for the past 5 decades with an all-new story. Danny Moonstar is drafted for a mission across time and space for an incredible psychic showdown against the Shadow King, joining forces with characters created and defined by the pen of Chris Claremont. Okay, I am a big Chris Claremont fan. I am currently in the home stretch of completing a Chris Claremont run of the X-Men, issues 94 through 279. I have about 24 issues between 94 and 132 left to fill in. And I am not a, hey, let's get a complete run of this series kind of guy. I collect keys, I collect, certain stories, but to me, Chris Claremont told such an amazing story with the X-Men. He told just whatever the number is, almost 200 issues, what he considered to be one continuous story, and he did it so well. He was so good at telling stories with just this action and adventure, but they were grounded in human conflict, and so as fantastic as they were in their superhero-ness, they were very relatable to any reader, and his characters are very grounded and human, even though they might be aliens or mutants or whatever, but they're relatable, and he's very character focused, and I like him a lot. So I'm really excited to read this anniversary special. If you like good stories with great characters, well told, you might want to consider checking this out. And considering it's an anniversary special, I could have expected like an anniversary special to be like $10. It's only $5, so it might be something you want to check out. The next book I want to mention is Origins. This is issue #3 of 6. I only mention it because I'm reading it and I'm liking it. If you are also reading it, issue #3 comes out this week. All right, a book that comes out this week is called, another one that comes out this week is called Serial #1. Here's the description. Zoe has been 10 years old for 50 years. Most of her life has been spent on the run fighting the demon that lived within her, kept her young, and turned her into a serial killer. Now free of the demon, Zoe discovers her childhood friend is the latest victim in a string of murders. Determined to put an end to the reign of terror, Zoe uses her own deadly skills to stalk the predator and avenge her fallen friend. Serial is Terry Moore's new series featuring Zoe, the irrepressible star of Rachel Rising and 5 Years. Don't miss the premiere issue of her solo series. This sounds like a really interesting concept and story, and I like the idea, so I wanted to point it out to you. Another book that comes out this week is Erratic, issue #2 of 5. I read issue #1. I believe I recommended it for a book that you might consider picking up if you're looking for a new series to start, and I liked it a lot. I thought it was really great. I believe it's tailored more towards teenagers in general, but even an old guy like me enjoyed reading it, and so I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to read all 5 issues. I could absolutely see it having spec potential, because I could see it having being adapted into a television show or movie or something. It's right in line. It's right and perfect for something like that. But regardless, in and of itself, it's a good read, something you might want to consider checking out. The next book I'm going to mention is new. It's called Space Bastards #1. Acclaimed artist Derek Robertson joins writers Eric Peterson and Joe Aubrey as they unleash the galaxy's most vicious and depraved parcel couriers? Poor David S. Proton, a meek, unemployed accountant, desperate for money, he joins the Intergalactic Postal Service, paired with Manny Corns, aka the Manicorn, a sardonic brute who thrives on the competition provided by the IPS, but delivery is mercenary for these intergalactic dispatchers. Payment goes solely to whoever fulfills the delivery, making every run a comedically violent free-for-all between the most ruthless degenerates in the cosmos. Stand back, Lobo. Make way, Han Solo. Here comes the Space Bastards. All right, so this sounds silly. It sounds bordering on ridiculous, but it also sounds fun. If you're interested in silly, ridiculous fun, this might be the book for you to check out. This next book actually sounds kind of interesting. It is called Ascencia #1. It is 150 years in the future. The city of Ascencia towers above its sister city Bethany in perpetual dominance. The city of immortals, a power resides in Ascencia coveted by all, but accessible to few. This is the story of what one would do to become immortal, who they would abandon, who they would betray, and ultimately what price they would pay to remain in Ascencia. I didn't read it very well, but it does sound like a pretty interesting story. Now, not only part of what's interesting about this, other than just the description that I read just now, is the fact that Ben Oliver is doing this B cover, but also there is this 1 in 25 cover done by Jim Lee. Jim Lee is doing a 1 in 25 cover for a brand new title from a publisher called Wake Entertainment that I have never heard of. So, what's up with that? Did they back a truck full of cash up to his house and asked him to please do a cover for us? And he's like, but of course, and he laughed all the way to the bank? Or does he have some kind of vested interest in this, and is there some kind of something else going on there? I don't know, but it all kind of, makes it a little bit more interesting and maybe something you might want to consider checking out for yourself. Next one I want to mention is a book called American Mythology, Monsters #1. American Mythology Productions is plunging into the darkness, and we're taking you with us. American Mythology Monsters is our first foray into Full Tilt Fright, an all-new black and white anthology title featuring modern takes on some of the horror world's most classic creations. Meet the hideous creature called Gwen, an assemblage of sickening parts that together form a nightmarish creature who wants nothing more than to rip you to shreds. Beware the curse of Saphia, rising from the unearthed corpse of an ancient Egyptian mummy and bent on the destruction of a scientific facility and the possession of its human inhabitants. And how, with a university professor whose brief sexual encounter with a mysterious woman has left him with the bite, and the horrifying curse of the werewolf. It's serialized horror in the classic tradition, in 3 tales that will haunt your dreams, but only for mature readers. All right, monsters are cool. This sounds like they're being kind of true to the monsters. Might be something you might want to consider checking out if you're into monsters. This next one is a fun one. It's called Soulstream #1. This is from Scoot, an imprint of Scout Comics, and they're proud to introduce ultra-talented 16-year-old comic creator Saida Wolf's new title, Soulstream. Marie and Marcus discover an alternate dimension known as the Mirror World, where their entire city has been destroyed and replaced by a volcanic wasteland. Marie is contacted by the mage goddess, who gives her a magical ocean bracelet that transforms Marie, allowing her to control water as the superhero Soulstream. Enjoy the first issue of this nonstop, followed by the entire story collected soon after in one volume. I think this is pretty great that they gave a 16-year-old their own comic book. And if you have a kid that might be looking for a comic book to read this week, this might be just the perfect one for them. Next, I want to mention the 27 run, Crush #1. It says, humanity's only chance against 27 towering monsters and legions of voracious crawlies is the mech pilot Betty and a telepathic dog named EK. But Betty faces an even bigger challenge, the return of a long-lost love. Get ready for an action-packed standoff that continues with series Steve Orlando, with the series Steve Orlando calls a wasteland tale energized with dark humor and fantastic creatures. All right, well, the cover's pretty cool. You know, I mean, who doesn't want a story about a telepathic dog? I know I do. And it sounds like it could be pretty interesting, maybe something worth checking out this week. But there are so many things worth checking out this week that this one I could see very easily getting lost in the shuffle. All right, so that brings us to our final book this week. Now, once again, this book is not only my cover pick for the week, the A cover of it, it is also my pick that I would recommend if you were looking for a new series to start this week. And it is also the book that I would choose to buy if I could buy just one book. And that book is Haha #1. Let me read the description for you. Ice Cream Man writer W. Maxwell Prince brings his signature style of one-shot storytelling to the world of clowns, and he's invited some of the comic industry's best artists to join him for the ride. Haha is a genre-jumping, throat-lumping look at the sad, scary, hilarious life of those who get paid to play the fool, but these ain't your typical jokers. With issues drawn by Vanessa Del Rey, Gabriel Walta, Roger Langridge, and more, Haha peeks under the big top, over the rainbow, and even inside a balloon to tell a wide-ranging slew of stories about funny men and women, proving that some things are so sad you just have to laugh. Well, this is an interesting one to me personally. Now, this is a spin-off, essentially, of Ice Cream Man. And I'm going to admit something. I have not read a single issue of Ice Cream Man. Why? I'm not a big horror anthology guy. Ice Cream Man didn't really draw me in because I like serialized stories. I like ongoing stories. I'm not necessarily into horror anthologies, that just have individual stories per issue. It doesn't grab me the same way other books do. But I've heard so many amazing things about Ice Cream Man. In addition, if you watched my video that came out last week of the top 10 comic books released in 2020, I'll put the little link right up there if you haven't seen it already. A little bit of a spoiler, 2 of the top 10 books were issues of Ice Cream Man. That is pretty impressive. They aren't especially key for any reason. They aren't first appearances of anybody that, they are just books that people are really enjoying reading. And 2 of them are doing well enough, 2 of them that were released in 2020 alone are doing well enough to be in the top 10 of books with their highest value in the secondary market. That's saying something. Now, even though I hadn't read anything of Ice Cream Man, I did read King of Nowhere, which is also from writer W. Maxwell Prince, and I liked it a lot. I thought it was really well done, a really great story, really well told. So I can totally understand why people would say that W. Maxwell Prince is a good writer. So since I kind of missed the boat on Ice Cream Man, I've decided let's not miss the boat on Haha. And Haha is going to focus on one of the scariest things in all of existence. Clowns. Clowns are scary. And this whole series, Haha, is completely dedicated to horror clown stories. Thankfully, There's only 6 issues of Haha. It's going to be a limited series, so I won't have nightmares for years to come. I'll probably just have nightmares for the next 6 months, and I'm definitely going to have to treat these books like contraband and make sure that my wife doesn't see a single one of them, because if she sees these covers, she is going to have nightmares, instant nightmares, and I don't want that for her, so I'm gonna have to keep those a little bit secret. But I'm gonna be brave, and I'm going to face my fears, and I'm gonna go along for the ride and check out what Haha has to bring. So based off of the strength of Ice Cream Man and W. Maxwell Prince and the artists that they seem to be bringing in to do this, which seem to be phenomenal, and just the scare factor of reading scary stories about clowns and me facing my fears. These are all reasons why, if I could buy just one book this week, I would buy Haha #1. All right. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed the content, if you enjoyed what I had to tell you about today, likes are always appreciated. Please feel free to hit that like button right now. Let the algorithm know that you enjoy my content. If this is the first one of my videos that you have ever watched, thank you so much for checking it out, and thank you for watching it all the way to the end. I invite you, of course, to hit the subscribe guy and make sure to hit the notification bell so that you're informed when I put out new videos. Thank you. You guys are great. Your support is amazing to me. I appreciate it so much. I'll see you in the next video.